Hello and welcome to lesson number 5 on BIOS repair. For this lesson, I will teach how to decrypt Dell BIOS, okay? Because Dell is the only manufacturer that builds its own BIOS, so it is called Dell BIOS, okay? And what we should do when the website BIOS is bigger than the backup BIOS, okay? Backup taken from the computer. Lesson number 4 on lesson number 4 we have learned what to do when the website BIOS is smaller than the backup BIOS taken from the computer. In lesson number 5 I will teach what we should do when we download the website BIOS and we realize that the website BIOS is bigger than our backup BIOS taken from the computer. Okay, so let's start our lesson. Okay, so Dell BIOS normally come encrypted. Okay, there are several ways to decrypt the .x file from Dell's website and remove the BIOS that we need. Okay, so today I will only teach how to decrypt Dell BIOS. Okay, later on this course I will teach about HP BIOS, Samsung BIOS, etc. Okay, so but for this lesson number 5, I will only teach how to decrypt Dell BIOS. Okay, here. So later on this course I will also teach how to decrypt HP and Samsung BIOS. Okay, so for this lesson I will use Dell 3421. Okay, Dell 3421. So in image we have the Dell website. Okay, www.dell.com. Okay, support home USA. Okay, USA EN from English. Okay, products laptop. Okay, so here we have 3 different types of selection. Okay, so we have auto detect. Okay, automatic detect, auto detect. Okay, so this auto detect, it means to update the BIOS of my computer by itself. Okay, in case we have a Dell computer, we just press this button named detect product. Okay, and the website will detect the exact model of my computer. Okay, next we have service tag or express service code. Okay, this is my favorite. Anytime someone asks me help for fixing a Dell BIOS, I always ask for the backup BIOS and service tag. Okay, this is my favorite. Why? Because when we insert the service tag, the website will lead us to the specific model of that computer, of that laptop. Okay, so I know that it's the right BIOS, that's the right .x file, okay, with BIOS that I need with no error. Okay, this is my favorite. I use it all the time. Okay, service tag. Next, the third option that we have is browse for a product. Okay, browse for a product. Okay, here in the service tag. Okay, service tag, it's 7 digits that we found on the bottom of the laptop. With this information we are directly taken to the exact laptop. Let me just show right here. Okay, aquí previously viewed supported pages. Okay, some of the laptops that I have downloaded the BIOS. Okay, because I need it. Here you can see, okay, this Inspiron 14R 5437. I search it for the model. Okay, I did not use the service tag search. Okay, this Dell Vostro, I did not use the service tag search. This Inspiron N4010, I did not use the service tag. Okay, but in this Inspiron 14R 5437, I searched using the service tag. Okay, service tag is 7 digits that we can find on the bottom of the laptop. Okay, F9KMZ02. Okay, 7 digits. For this Inspiron 15, I also used the service tag search. Okay, because it will take me directly to this model. Okay, in this way I know that this is the exact model that I have in front of me. Okay, it's the computer for my client, so I have no errors. Okay, right here. And then we have browse for product. Okay, right here. The third option is browse for a product. Okay, this option right here, it will allow us. This option right here, it will allow us to search manually for our laptop. Okay, so we will select the Inspiron. Okay, we will select the laptop we need. Okay, Inspiron 3421. Okay, so auto detect. Okay, we don't have this option. Okay, why? Because our laptop give no image, no power. Okay, so we cannot use this website. Okay, so auto detect, it will not be used. Okay, service tag, just enter your service tag, your 7 digits service tag right here, submit, and we will be taken to the exact model of this laptop. Okay, so browse for a product, we click on view product. Okay, view product, select a product, laptop. Okay, we have chosen laptop Inspiron. Okay, because for this class I will use the Dell Inspiron 3421. Okay, it's an Inspiron, so we choose Inspiron and my mouse. Okay, right here we select Inspiron. Inside of this Inspiron we will choose right here, we will pick Inspiron 3421. This is the BIOS I will use for this lesson. Okay, to teach you how to decrypt Dell BIOS. Okay, right here, so we choose, okay, the Inspiron 3421. Okay, we click, okay, and we have right here Inspiron 3421. Okay, next, now that we have our computer, okay, our laptop, we just need the BIOS. Okay, and we select drivers and downloads. Okay, and we choose find it myself. Okay, we will find ourselves, okay, the driver that we need. Okay, so drivers and downloads, find it myself. We click on find it myself, we select find it myself. Okay, and then we have all drivers. Okay, audio, BIOS, VGA, chipset. Okay, all drivers. Okay, so we only need the BIOS. Okay, we only need BIOS, and we select BIOS. And here we find two BIOS. Okay, both with 8 megabytes, and 8 megabytes. Windows and DOS. Okay, 8 megabytes and 8 megabytes. Okay, so we can download any of them. Okay, the 3421A12.x or the 5421A07.x. Okay, we can download any of them. Okay, any of these files. Okay, we can download any of these files. Okay, the computer will work fine. Okay, so but normally we always download the latest version of BIOS. Why? So the machine, besides being repaired, is also updated. Okay, right here, because this is the release date on 25 June 2014. This release date, it was 8 October 2013. Okay, right here. So the last update, we will use this right here. Okay, we will use right here that says the release date 25 June 2014. Okay, last updated 13 October, last updated 30 September. okay, 30 September 2015. So we will always download the latest version of our BIOS. So besides the machine being repaired, okay, it's also, this BIOS is also updated, okay, so we will download the last updated, okay, it's the 3521A12.x, okay, and we will download to our folder, okay. So when the download is done, it's time to get the BIOS file that is inside this file right here, okay. As you can see, this icon is different, okay. This icon is not a Phoenix Phoenix AMI, okay. This icon belongs to Dell, okay. Dell BIOS is not made from any other manufacturer, okay. It's Dell itself who makes its own BIOS, okay. So this icon right here, means that this BIOS is from Dell, okay, right here. So we have downloaded the file with 7.7 megabytes, okay, and the file is named 3421, our computer model, okay, inspired 3421A12, okay. So we will decompress this file using the normal methods we have learned so far, okay. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and lesson 4, okay. We will using the normal method that we have used so far, okay. So as you know, we choose 7-zip, okay. One more thing I want to show you, okay. Here on the .rar software, okay, we do not see right here, okay, decompress to a specific folder. No, we don't have, okay, right here, because the .rar software cannot extract what is inside, okay. Right here we don't have, okay. So we will only use 7-zip, okay, right here, extract to this folder 3421A12 folder, or we will use any extract files, okay, any extract, universal extractor, any, okay. So I will use the 7-zip to extract all the content, okay, all the files inside of this .x file right here named 3421A12, okay. I will try to extract, okay, and let's see what it will happen, okay. Right here, 0% extracting, okay. As you can see, it gives us an error, okay. Why? Because this BIOS is encrypted, and there are several ways to decrypt this BIOS, okay, but we cannot extract what is inside of this file, okay, of this .x file. We cannot extract, okay, using WinRAR, 7-zip, universal extractor, okay. We cannot decompress what is inside of this file, okay. So we need to decrypt this file so we can have access to the BIOS file inside of this Dell X file, okay, right here, Dell.x file, okay. So let's start decompress, okay. So now we will start to decrypt the BIOS, okay, in order so we can obtain the BIOS file inside of this Dell.file, okay. So first thing we have to do, we have to pick this file, okay. We have to copy, okay, this file 3421A12. We have to copy this file to our desktop, okay, right here. I just paste it here, okay, and I will explain why I have done that, okay, because it's simpler. We copy, not pick, okay. We copy the file, okay, the Dell file, okay, and we paste on our desktop, okay. It's simple. And now after we passed the Dell file to our desktop, we open the CMD panel. Okay, how do we open? Okay, I usually use the Win keyboard plus R. Okay, let me just write it here. Okay, the shortcut I use. Okay, I do Win okay plus R. Okay, when we do that, we will have a short execute, and we write only CMD. Okay, and we write CMD. Okay, Win plus R. Okay, or you can do it manually. You come right here, okay, search, and you just write CMD. Okay, CMD. Okay, right here. But normally I do Win plus R. Okay, execute, and then open CMD. Okay, if the window is open. Okay, right here. So we open the CMD window. Oops. We open the CMD window. Okay, and then next, and then you see that we start writing our command. Okay, cd desktop enter. Okay, we write cd desktop enter. Why is desktop? Because the file right here, it's on my desktop. Okay, it's simpler. If this file was inside of this folder called tests right here, okay, I would have to write cd the path of this folder, and then write what is inside of this folder. Okay, too big, too boring. Okay, so simple. We copy the file, paste on our desktop. We open the CMD panel. Okay, and write cd desktop. Okay, and press enter, and you will have this command. Okay, c users LOE. Okay, my computer. This is the name of my account. Okay, desktop. Okay, when we have this desktop, okay, we will write 3421A12. Okay, we will write it. Okay, or just copy paste this name. Okay, here I copied and I have pasted. Okay, number 2 I have copied this name. Number 3 right here where it says in Portuguese colar, in English means paste. Okay, copiar in Portuguese, in English means copy. Colar in Portuguese, paste in English. Okay, reminding. Okay, we open the CMD control panel. Okay, see users, the account of the user. Okay, in this account we just write cd desktop, cd space desktop, cd space desktop, and enter. Okay, you will have the desktop open. Okay, waiting to us to tell what file we want to open inside the desktop. Okay, inside the desktop. Okay, and then we copy the name of the file 3421A12. Number 3 we passed right here the name of our file. Okay, on CMD. Okay, now imagine what it would be if we have this file in this specific folder. Just look at this. D is my hard drive right here. Okay, local disk D. Okay, inside of my local disk D I have a folder named cursos in Portuguese, or courses in English. Okay, hard drive D, folder cursos. Inside my folder cursos I have another folder called cursos ELM, cursos ELM, meaning cursos LOE motherboards, my company. So we have another folder. We have to indicate my another folder right here. Inside this folder named Cursos ELM, I have another folder named Buyers Repair Course. Okay, I have to give this path. Okay, too big, too boring. Okay, inside this folder named Buyers Repair Course, I have another folder named Buyers Lesson. Okay, Buyers Lesson. I'm sorry, but this is in Portuguese. Buyers Lesson. Inside this folder named Buyers Lesson, I have another folder named Lesson 5. I have to give this path to this folder. Okay, Lesson 5. Inside the Lesson 5 folder, I have another folder named Testing Bias. Okay, right here, another folder named Testing Bias. Inside this folder named Testing Bias, I have my file. Okay, too big, too boring. Okay, you can do this way. Okay, but you can do it the simple way. Okay, simplest way. Okay, just copy this file right here. Just copy this file and paste right here on the desktop. Okay, simple. Okay, simple. Just paste it here. Okay, and then open the CMD. So open the CMD panel. Okay, on C users. Okay, the name of user, the name of account, you just write it CD desktop enter. Okay, CD desktop enter. After this, you just simply copy the name of this file. Okay, that is already on the desktop. You just copy the name of this file 3421A12. Copy number 3, you paste it in front of the desktop. Okay, just copy. Just paste it here. Okay, and we will end up with something like this. Okay, CD desktop enter. Okay, the name of my file right here, the name of my file. Okay, followed by space. Okay, space. I don't know how to say this in English. Okay, so I will say trace. Okay, I will say trace. This is not a trace. Okay, I don't know how to say this in English. Okay, don't know the words. Okay, how English people call this. Okay, but it's space, this line right here. Okay, and then it's write ROM file. Okay, once again, CD desktop. Okay, you copy and paste the Dell BIOS, Dell file to the desktop. Okay, CD desktop enter. Okay, after enter, the CMD panel will be waiting for you to tell what is the file. Okay, and what do you want to do with that file. Okay, so you say the file is 3421A12. Okay, on the desktop. Okay, on the desktop of the account LOE motherboards. Okay, on the folder users on the hard drive C. Okay, so what you want to do with this file named 3421A12. Okay, I want to write the .rom file. Okay, .rom .bin. Okay, .rom .bin. Okay, so in this case we want the .rom file. Okay, that's what we want. We are giving specific instructions to CMD panel. Okay, for this file I only want the .rom file. Okay, all ROM files I want you to take out of this file. Okay, of this 3421A12. Okay, I want you to take out this file so I can be able to write on it. Okay, that's what we are telling on this CMD control panel. Okay, write rom.rom, it's the file we want. .rom file. It's the file we want. Okay, and we press enter. Okay, and we press enter. After we press enter, after we press enter, we will end up with the .rom file right here. Okay, I'm sorry because this is showing as a paint file. Okay, so but this is not a paint file. Okay, it was something that I was looking for. Okay, I was changing my wallpaper, my BIOS wallpaper, my BIOS logo better. Okay, I was changing my BIOS logo. Okay, and I had to change some settings on my computer so that the logo could be shown, okay, as a paint file. Okay, so I can change a lot of things on my BIOS logo. Okay, so this is the dot file. Okay, right here, sorry, this is the .rom file. Okay, right here, this is 34.21.812, 34.21.812. okay, right ROM file, and this is our .rom file. Okay, right here, 34.21.812. okay, so the extraction process, okay, it starts. So, and we end up with our .rom file in the same location where the .x file is. Okay, in this case was on the desktop. Okay, right here, .x file, .rom file. Okay, it will always be in the same location, same folder, okay, same path where the .x file is. Okay, in our case, in this case, it was on the desktop. Okay, and now we have our BIOS file ready to be worked and flashed on the IC. Okay, and finally, when we have the BIOS file, okay, we will open the X Workshop software to work on it. Okay, and this is how we decrypt a Dell BIOS. This is how we get access to a Dell BIOS. Okay, in order to obtain the .rom file. Okay, simple. Okay, easy. X file. Okay. .rom file. Okay, so for this second part of this lesson number 5, I will not use the BIOS from Dell 3421. Okay, but I will use a BIOS from Dell 1535. Okay, 3521. Okay, the latest BIOS was 34. Okay, 34. I will now use 35. Okay, Dell BIOS 15 35 21. Okay, so in class number 4, okay, our last class number 4, we have learned what we should do when the BIOS for manufacturer website is less, okay, is smaller than the backup BIOS taken from the computer. In this lesson number 5, I will teach what to do when the computer BIOS is smaller than the BIOS from the manufacturer's website. Okay, so in image we have the file already extracted. Okay, already extracted, named esflash.bin. Okay, right here, .bin. Okay, this is our BIOS from a few moments ago. Okay, but we will use this 3521. Okay, this 3521 right here. Let me just erase. Okay, done. So I'm sorry. Need water. I'm sorry. So continuing our lesson. Okay, and sorry for that. Here in image we have the file already extracted. Okay, because I have already taught how to unpack, how to decrypt del files. Okay, no need to repeat and do it once again. Okay, del files, okay, del BIOS files, okay, it's always the same. Okay, so no need to repeat. So after we decrypt the del BIOS, okay, from the 3521A12 file .x file, we end up with esflash.bin, okay, with 7.6 megabytes. Okay, we also have here in this folder, okay, the KBC or the EC BIOS with 2 megabytes. Okay, 2 megabytes. We have the original main, okay, PCH BIOS with 4 megabytes. Okay, so 2 megabytes plus 4 megabytes equals to 6 megabytes. This original del BIOS taken from the website, it's 7.6 megabytes. Okay, so it's showing that this BIOS is bigger than the BIOS we took from the computer. Okay, now let's just open our X workshop and let's start working. Okay, so number one, right here, number one, it's this right here. Okay, number one, sorry, it's the factory BIOS. Okay, right here, ESL flash, as you can see on the bottom. Okay, ESL flash. BIOS number two, or file number two that we have open right here, file number two, file number two right here. Okay, we have the KBC BIOS. On BIOS number 3, we have the remain BIOS, that is the KBC BIOS. Okay, and now let's start working with the PCH BIOS. Okay, we will save the KBC BIOS for it. We will start working with the PCH BIOS because the ME region. Okay, so as we can see, okay, on BIOS number 1 taken from the website and PCH BIOS taken from the computer, right here, BIOS number 3. Okay, as we can see, the top, the header, okay, it's different, it's not equal. Okay, BIOS number 3, the PCH BIOS starts with the ME region. Okay, BIOS number 1 starts with MZ. MZ meaning that this is a package. Okay, this is a package. A package of what? This is a package of the .x file. Okay, .x file. This is a package, meaning that this is a package. Let me just show you one thing here. Okay, let's just eliminate all the paint. Let me see if I can show you something like here, a package. Okay, a package. Let me just show you this package. Let's open with X editor, with X workshop editor. Now this is RAR. Okay, let's just see if I can find some .x file. Okay, in Brazil, let me see if I have some .x file. No, I don't have X file. This is okay. X edit. Okay, this MZ, it means it is a package. Okay, it is a package, a .x file. Okay, this MZ. Okay, whenever you open a package, okay, you will always see this MZ. Okay, meaning that it's a package. Okay, it's part of a .x file. Okay, it is part of a .x file, or it is the X file. Okay, the .x file. Okay, in this case it is the .x file. Okay, right here it is the .x file. Okay, MZ meaning that this file belongs to a .x file. Okay, BIOS taken from the website. Number 3, right here. Okay, we have the BIOS, main BIOS, PCH BIOS taken from the computer. It starts with the ME region. ME region starts with 16 Fs followed by 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, this is where it starts the ME region. Okay, so the top, the beginning, okay, of each bias, offset 0, it is not equal. Okay, now let's see the bottom of each, or the end of each. Okay, so the end of each bias, bias number 1 from the website and bias from the PCH, are definitely not equal. Okay, they are the end is also different. Okay, so we have to build so we will have to work, okay, in order to get the KBC bias and PCH bias from the bias taken from the manufacturer's website. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we will look any indication of the PCH bias on the bias taken from the website manufacturer. Okay, and we start with the ME region. Okay, we will select 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, 5A, A5, F0, 0F, and we copy this information. After copy this information, we will find, okay, we will choose the option find. We will choose the option find on the file number 1. It is the bias taken from the computer. Okay, and we will look for this 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, and we found, okay, right here, Z, 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, before 5A we have the 16 Fs. Okay, before the 5A on the PCH bias, okay, we have the 16 Fs. Okay, after the 5A, A5, F0, 0F, we have 03, 01, 04, 02, 06. Okay, after the 5A, A5, F0, 0F on the bias taken from the website manufacturer, what we have 03, 01, 04, 02, 02, 06, okay, and so on. Okay, it is equal. So what we have to, let me just, okay, go to the next slide, and what we should do is very simple. Okay, so we select from the ME region. Okay, this point, let me just use my pen. Okay, so the ME region starts here. Okay, so we select this point of the bias from the manufacturer's website to the top, okay, to the offset 0. Okay, and we will select all this data, okay, to manufacturer's website, okay, until to the offset 0. Okay, and we will delete all this information. Okay, why? Because we don't need it. So Claudio, why is this information here? Because this information right here, okay, it's concerning to the .x file. Okay, the .x file, since we will not use the windows to flash our bias, but we will inject this file directly on the EEPROM. Okay, using our programmer, we don't have the need to use this information. Okay, this is information, okay, is not needed for us. Okay, because we will in simple words, we will inject, okay, all this information directly on the EEPROM. Okay, we will not use the .x file. Okay, we will not program this bias, flash this bias using the Windows. Okay, so we don't need all this information. Okay, as we don't need this information, we delete it. We delete all this information. Okay, after we delete this information, we will end up with the offset 0, okay, equal, okay, starting with the ME region. Okay, and the top, it's done. Okay, so it's done for the top. Okay, now let's see the end. Let me show you. Okay, sorry, the end is not equal. Okay, we have seen before the end is not equal. Okay, so after we have, let me just pick up my pen. I've lost my pen, I'm sorry. Okay, it's here, my pen. So after we have this ME region already done, okay, we need to find the full bias, okay, the full PCH bias. As we know, the PCH bias has 4 megabytes, okay. We can search using the find, okay, find using hexadecimal code. Let me show you here using hexadecimal code. No, it's not in this lesson, I'm sorry. We can find using hexadecimal code, or we can use the offset. Okay, I rather use the offset. Why? Because it will take me directly to the point I really need. It's 4 megabytes. Okay, so since the beginning it's equal, okay, the end will be equal as well. Okay, so I will see my offset. Okay, I will see the offset of 4 megabytes. It's 41, 94, 304. Okay, this is the offset of 4 megabytes. Okay, so after this I choose the option go to, and I insert, okay, I insert the 41, 94, 304. This is the offset of 4 megabytes. Okay, and it will show me that the offset is here on this point. Okay, this is 300. 300 is here. 301, 302, 303, and 304. Okay, it's here in this point. 304 is here in this point. Okay, so this is the end of my bias, of my PCH bias. Okay, this is the end of PCH bias. Okay, so I will choose from this point right here to the top, okay, to the top, to the offset 0. Okay, I will I will copy all this information. Okay, I will open a new file and I will pass this information for a new file here. Okay, I have opened a new file and I have passed all this information for this new file. As we can see, we have a brand new PCH bias with 4 megabytes. 4 megabytes. Here is the offset of 4 megabytes. Okay, 41, 94, 304. Okay, let's count. Okay, this is 300, 301, 2, 3, and 304. Okay, this is the PCH bias, okay, with full 4 megabytes. Okay, and this PCH bias is ready to be flashed on the EEPROM for the computer to work. Okay, right here. So we will save it and give it a name. Okay, Dell, we will save it. Okay, Dell Inspiron 15. Okay, 3521 main bias, PCH bias. Okay, here, I'm sorry, this is Portuguese, okay, but it means recovered. Okay, recovered. So in this way, in my BIOS database, I know what is a BIOS recovered, made by me, okay, or a BIOS that someone sent me. Okay, so right here I have main recovered. Okay, and we save. In Portuguese we say guardar, in English means save. Okay, and we choose the option save. Okay, and now we have the PCH bias working. Okay, and after the PCH bias, it only rests, right? It only remains the KBC bias, right? The KBC bias. So the KBC bias, it's way simple. Okay, why? It's the remain Okay, it's what's left on the original bias taken from the website. It's the rest, okay, it's the remaining. So as we can see, the offset 0 is f's, okay, the offset 0 is f's. Offset 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, okay, as we can see, the top, the header, it's equal, okay. Now the end of each, okay, the end of each, as we can see, okay, it's not equal, okay, we have some slight differences, okay. KBC, oh, I'm sorry, here, okay, I'm sorry, here, let's see, this is KBC bias, bias number 1, KBC bias, bias number 2, it's the bias taken from the website, okay, taken from the website. As we can see, as we can see, we have 2 megabytes. I have 2 megabytes, and here I have 3 megabytes. Okay, we have 3 megabytes. So it means that there's some information on the bias taken from the manufacturer we need to cut, we need to remove. Okay, we need to remove in order to this bias from the website manufacturers would be equal to the KBC bias ready to be flashed on the KBC EEPROM. Okay, so as you can see right here, okay, the end is not equal. Okay, so we can use 2 options to find this exact spot. We can use the find option, or we can use the go to option. Okay, I always rather using the offset. Okay, I always prefer using the offset. Why? Because the offset will give me the exact spot, okay, the exact line, the exact position for me to make the cut, okay, for me to cut the bias. Okay, so but you can use the option find, or you can use the option go to. Okay, I prefer, okay, I rather use the offset, okay, of 2 megabytes, the offset. Okay, so here we have the offset of 2 megabytes, okay, right here. Let me just make a line, 209, 71, 52, okay, corresponding to here, okay, 2 megabytes, okay, the exact spot, the exact point, okay, we need to cut on the KBC bias right here, on this bias, okay. So knowing this, okay, we will use the offset option, okay, the go to option, okay, to find the exact spot. Okay, so we use the go to option and we find that the exact spot is here. Okay, the KBC bias ends here. Okay, the KBC bias ends here. This is 2 megabytes, this is 2 megabytes right here, this is 2 megabytes. Okay, so we will select all this information down, okay, to the end of this file, okay, to the end of this file, this bias taken from the Dell's website. Okay, we will choose all this information, okay, all this information, and we will delete. Okay, also we can use the option find. Okay, the option find, with the option find I always use some indication that can take me the closest I need to that point. Okay, so as the end is 0000FF F4FF, okay, and there's a lot of FFs, there's a lot of F4, there are a lot of 00 or 00. Okay, it will be difficult for me to find this exact point right here. So I always use hexadecimal code with letters. Okay, with letters like here, .pa. Okay, I use this .pa. right here. Okay, I selected 00BF5041. Okay, I select all this information and I copy it. I copy this information, option find. Okay, type X values. Okay, it's an X values, not a string. X values. Okay, 00BF5041. Okay, this is what is here. Okay, here. In text, this means .pa. Okay, and I press OK right here. Okay, and I press OK, and it will take me to here, to this information, to this PA right here. Okay, as you can see. Okay, right here. Okay, 00BF5041. Okay, and will take me to here. Okay, after we find this .pa, we find this plus signal. Okay, this plus signal, okay. After this, we will just count. Okay, and see where is the FF, F4. Okay, and we can see right here FF, F4, 0000. Okay, so the cut will be made here. Okay, so this is a long way, a boring way. Okay, I rather use the offset. Okay, the offset, it will automatically point to that exact spot. Okay, to that exact spot. So we will choose all these options here. We will use all these options here. Okay, down, and we will delete all this information right here. Okay, and so we will end up with the KBC bias ready to be flashed. Okay, so this was lesson number 5. Okay, how to decrypt Dell bias, and what to do when we download bias from the website and that bias is bigger than the bias taken from the computer. Okay, lesson number 4, it was when we download the bias from the website and the bias from the website is smaller than the bias we took from the computer. Okay, so this was lesson number 5. Okay, I will now close Bandicam. I will open the chat, and any questions, just ask me. Okay, and I will be glad. I will be I will be pleased to help you. Okay, let me just close the Bandicam and I will open the chat.